What's up, everybody? Joseph coming your way with a special video here. Alright, let me get straight to the point. So, it has been, to this day, exactly 1 week. I am exactly 1 week removed from quitting my job of 8.5 years. And I've been thinking about it a lot. And what I want to share right now is pretty much a 3-part video, okay? Alright, the first part's going to be how I got my job and what I originally thought of it. Second part is what my job became. And the third part are 8.5 things that I learned across all those 8.5 years that I've had my job, okay? So let's start with part 1, how I got my job. Okay, so I moved here a decade ago, and I still had some money from my dad's savings account. My dad passed away a year before I moved here, so this would be 2006. I moved here in 2007, and for about a year or so, I just kind of dicked around. I was still really depressed from my dad dying. I had to survive a couple of other deaths in the family, so I had a lot of loss going into 2008, and I realized that my dad's savings account wasn't going to last forever. So I said I need to get a goddamn job, and it doesn't have to be anything special. What I was doing, the jobs I was getting before I got my 8.5 year job, I was doing a lot of call center shit because it paid me the most, but it also made me really miserable. So I said to myself, what kind of retail job can I get? Because my retail job before, my very first retail job, or my second one, one of those two, I was like highly supervised, you know, and it was just, I really felt like a slave. So I said to myself, okay, what kind of job can I get? And I remember getting a job in my very early 20s, like when I was 21, or when I was 22, I'm sorry, when I was 22, I got a job as a security guard for dormitories. And I liked that job because all I had to do was just sit at a desk, ring people in, answer security calls, fill out some paperwork, other stupid bullshit, you know, call authorities or EMTs if a student was, you know, hurt or injured, or if they were like, you know, had alcohol poisoning or something like that. I enjoyed that job because I was self-supervised. So I said to myself, there's got to be a way to combine retail environment with being self-supervised. And there was a Circle K that I shopped at right outside of campus. And I said, these guys have like 3 people working there tops. I wonder if it's really supervised. And so, just for shits and giggles, it said that they're hiring. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Let me do it. Let me see if they can recruit me. So I remember I walked in. This is legitimately what I said. This is how I asked This is how I inquired. Okay. I said, I saw your sign out there saying that you needed some staff. Are you currently recruiting? And what can I do to apply for this job? Because I'm interested. That's kind of how I worded it. It's not completely accurate, but you get the point. You know, I was very straight to the point. I didn't ask like I was begging. You know, I came at them very professionally, cordially, well-spoken. That's how you ask for a job. You don't go, you guys still hiring? What store are you hiring for? What shifts are you hiring for? It doesn't matter. Just ask if they need some staff, or say that you saw a sign said they need staff. See if they're recruiting. Ask about how to apply. There you go. Boom. So I applied. I got interviewed on the spot. Probably because I was so well spoken. And within a couple weeks, I got the job. Now, when I first got my job, I was not happy. I had a supervisor who really wanted to micromanage my ass, and I fucking hated it. But within a couple months, they left. And I'd worked, the first shifts I worked were from like 7 at night until 2 in the morning, 7 at night till 3 in the morning, that kind of stuff. And there were still supervisors on those shifts. So they would be screaming down my throat, whatever. And then I started working legitimate graveyard shifts from 11 to 5, 11 to 7, 11 to 8, 11 to 3 in some cases, that kind of stuff. And the morning supervisor would just scream down my throat. But I said to myself, okay, I need to persevere. I'm not just gonna be a quitter. I'm not just gonna quit this job like I've done my other jobs. I'm gonna actually stay here and see what happens. And it's good that I did, because what happened was that the real belligerent supervisors, by the time I was 6 months or so in, all the belligerent supervisors who just wanted to micromanage the shit out of everybody, they left, or they got fired, whatever. And then I had a really cool supervisor who, was just like, just do your shit. If you don't do your shit, I'm gonna call you out on it. That's about it. And I had that supervisor pretty much for 8 years in a row. Roughly 8 years. There was like 1 year where he wasn't there. And was replaced by a really belligerent supervisor. But that's how I got my job. And in part 2, I'm going to explain the evolution of my job, what it was for the first half and what it was for the back half of it. All right, stay tuned for that one.